Good morning, gentlemen. We're on our 52nd segment of Think Before You Speak, the laws of Shemirat Halashon with clarity, with a few stories. Lilu Nishmat, the Chafetz Chaim, Zechet Tzadik Lebracha, or Lilu Nishmat, Luza Liza Bat Henriette and her children that passed away in the fire. Ruach Hashem Tinichena B'Gan Eden. As well, these halachot are dedicated for the Hatzlacha and the Shmirah Gdola of our Bnei Chabura that learn together in the morning. And these halachot are specifically dedicated for the Hatzlacha Gdola and Shmira Ma'aliyah for Chaim Davido ben Chayesar. Today's halachot are titled, Actions Speak Louder. This is a very interesting halacha. I want you to picture yourself. Tefillah just ended. You're in shul. You're about to leave, and you turn to the rabbi, and you say, Rabbi, I'm uncomfortable to tell you this, but did you see what happened this morning? Right before Aleinu L'Shabeach, this guy, and he tells him who it was, picked up his phone in middle of davening, before Aleinu, and started talking on the phone and having a conversation before Tefillah was over. Rabbi, could you imagine? A guy like this, who me and you know, is very Yirei Shamayim, he's a good guy, and yet he would answer his phone in middle of shul before Tefillah is over? How terrible is that? Now, if this guy told the rabbi what he just said, meeting all the requirements of constructive speaking, where it's not going to be Lashon Hara, like we spoke in the past, he came with only the right intention, that the rabbi should speak to him and tell him not to do it again. He saw it with his own eyes. He did not exaggerate the information. He said it exactly the way it took place. So he met all the requirements of constructive purpose of speaking about someone else negatively. And yet, it still is considered Lashon Hara if the guy who's telling the rabbi the story is guilty of the same crime himself. If he himself answered his phone a week earlier, now what you said, your actions speak louder than the words that seem to be constructive. And therefore it's clear that now you're complaining about this guy not out of the sanctity of the shul, because you yourself did it. You yourself were guilty of pulling out your phone in the middle of davening last week. Oh, so why are you telling on this guy? It must be personal. It must be that it's not constructive. It must be that you want to have it out for him. And therefore, this incredible story tells us, and the halacha states, says the Chafetz Chaim, to speak against the guilt of somebody else is only allowed on a constructive level when you, the speaker, are innocent of the same crime. But if you're guilty of the same crime, you cannot flag the innocence of constructive purpose and say I'm doing it because I want to stop him and help him. But if you're also guilty, it must be because it's personal. It's amazing how so many times in these halachot we find out that the intention of a person is the difference between the same words being asur or mutar or even a mitzvah by the simple constructive or intent of the person speaking. And in this case, you find out yet again that action speaks louder than words. Thank you for listening.